You've been lied to.
From the moment you could stand on 2 feet, you were told that discipline is just about willpower, that if you're lazy, you just need to try harder, that waking up early and making to-do lists somehow fixes everything, like putting fresh paint on a collapsing building will stop it from falling. But here's the brutal truth. Discipline isn't about effort in the moment. It's not about waiting for motivation to magically show up. Discipline is war, an internal war. And in this war, either you command your mind like a ruler commands his army, or your weaknesses will overrun you. Most people walk around like crumbling cities invaded by impulses, sabotaged by disorder, easy prey to any temptation that shows up first. They don't see that without structured, strategic discipline, there is no freedom, no power, no victory. If you don't take control of yourself, you'll constantly be a slave to chaos. Niccolo Machiavelli, one of the most misunderstood minds in history, understood this more than anyone. While most people push empty ideas like just think positive or believe in yourself, Machiavelli saw human nature with razor-sharp clarity. He knew the world doesn't reward the well-meaning. It rewards the disciplined. It rewards those who can stay in control, especially when everything around them is falling apart. To Machiavelli, discipline wasn't about morality. It wasn't about being good. It was about survival. Without discipline, a king and a peasant end up in the same place defeated. Here's the harsh reality. If you don't govern yourself, you're handing over control of your life to someone else, to outside forces, to impulses that blow harder than your weak will. Life, like a throne, is never left empty. Either you sit on it with complete control, or something else does. If you think discipline is just about waking up early when you feel motivated, forget it. If you think wanting something is enough to stay strong, forget it. This message isn't for people looking for comfort. This is for those who are ready to take on the heavy, brutal task of shaping themselves like a blacksmith shapes steel. True discipline isn't flashy. It's not sexy. It's constant. It's calculated. It's cold. It's the act of building an internal fortress where luck can't reach you and chaos can't sneak in. Today, you'll learn why Machiavelli treated discipline like a state-secret, non-negotiable, essential and powerful. And if you have the courage to put this into practice, you'll never see yourself the same way again. Machiavelli didn't write to entertain. He wrote to train. He wrote for strategists, for people who want to win the war within, for those who dare to confront the raw, unpleasant truth about power and how it works. When we look at discipline through Machiavelli's lens, we have to throw out every feel-good idea we've been sold about just finding motivation. For him, discipline is structure, it's strategy, it's survival. Without it, even the brightest, most talented people fall apart. In The Prince, Machiavelli wrote, "Just as the good order of the militias is the foundation of good order in the state, discipline is what enables a city or a man to withstand adversity." That's the core of it. There is no lasting success for someone who's a slave to their own impulses. There is no real power for someone who can't govern themselves. What Machiavelli saw with terrifying clarity is that discipline isn't something you use just during peaceful times. It's permanent armor, always on. For him, discipline is what keeps a leader steady when every emotion in his body wants to act out of fear, anger, or pride. It's what allows someone to stay strategic even when the world demands impulsiveness. An undisciplined prince, Machiavelli said, is more dangerous to himself than any enemy, because his downfall won't come from outside. It will come from within, from the flaws and cracks he refused to fix. Acting without planning, reacting without reflection, moving without purpose. These are guaranteed roads to collapse. Discipline isn't a tool you pick up when it's convenient. It's a habit, rigid, constant, and built over time, like a wall that protects you from inevitable storms. Machiavelli believed that people are naturally pulled toward corruption, pride, and fear, and only through ruthless self-control could they resist these forces. That applied not just to kings, but to anyone who wants to master their own destiny. If you don't rule your mind, it will be ruled by your moods, by outside pressures, by anything that whispers louder than your self-control. And according to Machiavelli, once you're ruled by something else, you're already politically dead. You just haven't realized it yet. But Machiavelli takes it even deeper. He saw the human spirit as a battlefield. Discipline was the thin line between victory and destruction. And that idea, the war within the disciplined commander at its center, is exactly what we'll dive into next. Ready for part 2, let me know. Picture an army heading into battle without training, without a plan, without any sense of command. What do you see? A slaughter waiting to happen. A tragedy already written. No amount of raw courage can save soldiers who don't know how to control their panic, push through exhaustion, or follow a command under pressure. This is how Machiavelli saw undisciplined people like broken armies. In Discourses on Livy, he wrote, "The orders of a wise captain are not obeyed by undisciplined soldiers." That's not just military talk. That's a warning, a psychological principle. If your mind is undisciplined, then no matter how brilliant your plans are, they'll fall apart at the first sign of resistance. You can make bold resolutions, write out goals, give yourself inspiring speeches in the mirror. But if your thoughts, emotions and habits don't know how to obey, you'll break the moment things get hard. This is where most people fall. Not because they lack talent, but because they lack control. Not because they're weak, but because they never trained their own inner army. Just like mercenary forces collapse under pressure, so do people who never practice discipline. To Machiavelli, a small, well-trained army could defeat a massive, unorganized one. And the same applies to your mind. A few well-conditioned thoughts, clear-focused, obedient, are far more powerful than thousands of scattered, conflicting emotions. Power doesn't come from the number of ideas in your head. It comes from your ability to command them, to lead them like a general leads troops. Now ask yourself, and be brutally honest, how many times have you failed, not because of a lack of talent, but because you let fear, doubt or laziness take the wheel? How many promises have you broken to yourself, not because you couldn't keep them, but because you gave in to weakness when it mattered most? That's what Machiavelli understood, that battles, real ones and internal ones, aren't won with brute force. They're won with order planning and the discipline to stay steady when everything else wants to collapse. Military discipline means showing up every day with the same determination no matter how you feel. It means obeying your strategy, not your mood. It means doing what must be done even when your body aches, even when your mind is begging for rest. Because victory belongs only to those who move forward even when it hurts. And here's the problem with today's world. We glorify feelings and ignore discipline. We chase what feels good, what's exciting, what's new, and we forget the one thing that actually builds greatness: consistency. That's why so many people live defeated lives. Not because life is unfair, but because they've never learned to lead themselves. They point fingers. They blame circumstances. But deep down, they know the battle was lost inside. If you want to take control, you need to stop acting like a civilian and start acting like a commander. Stop hoping for discipline to appear and start training it mercilessly. Machiavelli didn't believe in coddling the mind. He believed in forging it, training it like troops preparing for a siege, without mercy, without excuses. Because in the battlefield of life, those who lack discipline die slowly, not in body, but in potential. And this is where Machiavelli introduces a powerful contrast between virtù and fortuna, between skill and luck, discipline and chaos. To him, virtù was not some moral virtue. It was internal strength, the ability to adapt, to act decisively in the face of chaos, to shape fate instead of being shaped by it. Fortune in his eyes was like a raging river. When enraged, it floods, it destroys, it lifts the land and buries cities. But in calmer times, men can prepare dikes and barriers to protect themselves. That metaphor should hit you hard. Life is unpredictable. It's not fair. It doesn't care about your dreams or your potential. If you wait for luck to save you, you're already lost. The only way to stand strong when the flood comes is to have already built the walls, already trained the mind, already chosen discipline before the chaos arrives. Virtue is not about being good, it's about being ready. It's about acting when everyone else freezes. About bending luck to your will, not begging for its favor. The disciplined don't pray for storms to pass. They build fortresses to survive them. So again, look at your life. How many times have you delayed action hoping things would get better? How often have you waited for motivation instead of creating momentum? For Machiavelli, luck might be unpredictable, but it's not unstoppable. Those who depend on it are doomed. Those who build virtue, they win. And that's the next step. How do you actually build virtue? Not as a theory, but as a practice. Not as motivation, but as a daily brutal structure that forces your discipline to grow stronger every single day. That's what we'll build in the next part. Let's get real. Most people fail at discipline, not because they don't know what to do, but because they've swallowed the modern lie about how discipline works. Today, discipline has been hijacked by productivity influencers and wrapped in pastel-colored apps, checklists, and catchy slogans. You're told that building discipline is just about making habits, using reminders, setting timers, downloading one more life-changing app. But Machiavelli would have laughed at that nonsense. He knew discipline is not soft, it's not aesthetic, it's not some trendy lifestyle brand. Discipline is pain, it's confrontation, it's war, and if you aren't willing to suffer for it, you will not have it. You've been conditioned to seek comfort. You've been taught that success should be frictionless, that if something doesn't feel good, it must not be right. You've been told that the key is finding the perfect habit system, and then magically your life will just align. But real discipline, it isn't born from convenience. It's born in the fire of resistance. It's doing what must be done even when you hate it, even when you're tired, even when every part of you wants to quit. Machiavelli warned us the man who waits for the perfect moment is already doomed. Preparation happens in the quiet, in the ordinary, in the invisible battles you fight when no one's watching. The modern world treats failure like it's harmless. It's okay, they say, you're only human. Reward yourself, forgive yourself, take a break. Self-care, right? And while you do that, your potential dies quietly. Modern discipline is emotional. It's weak. It waits for the right mood, the right playlist, the right weather. But the discipline Machiavelli respected, it was structural, ruthless, unshakable. It didn't wait, it commanded. He would tell you, if you wait to feel ready, you're already a sheep on the way to the slaughterhouse, waiting for someone else to decide your fate. If you want discipline that builds empires, you need to go where most people never do. You have to throw out comfort, embrace the difficulty, let it burn. Because that fire, that's where your mind is forged. Now let's get tactical. You don't just hope discipline shows up. You build it, step by step, strategically, with systems so strong that weakness can't breathe inside them. Here's how. 1. Constant vigilance. Daily self-inspection. Every single day without fail, you need to inspect your mind like a general walks through his army camp. Look for cracks, track your thoughts, ask, where did I slack off today? Where did emotion override strategy? What excuse did I let slide? Laziness. That's a missing brick in your wall. Procrastination. That's a gate left open for the enemy. Don't ignore these things. Fix them immediately. Discipline dies in silence. Let no slip go unnoticed. 2. Eliminate decisions with strategic routines. Understand this. Your brain will choose the easier path every time it gets the chance. So stop giving it chances. Build routines that remove the need for decisions. Wake up at the same time every day. Work, train, study at the same times. Don't wait to feel like it. That's a trap. You act as if ordered. Period. Let's be blunt. If you're deciding whether to work out after a stressful day, you've already lost. Your brain will negotiate and it will win. But if working out is already part of your identity, your blueprint, then there's no internal debate. It just happens. 3. Relentless reinforcement. real consequences. You think discipline is just about tracking wins. Think again. In the real world, failures have consequences. In war, a mistake means death. In your life, failure should carry weight too. Set real penalties. Public ones. If you skip a routine, you owe money to a cause you hate. You confess your failure to a friend. You carry that shame, that discomfort, and you let it sharpen you. Discipline isn't about feeling good, it's about not letting failure take root. Think of a soldier. He doesn't ask if he feels like running 5 miles in the rain. He does it because orders are orders. Because failure leads to punishment, not pity. Your mind has to work the same way. You obey because that's what warriors do. And here's the hard truth. If you don't put chains on yourself, life will put shackles on you. You either discipline yourself or the world disciplines you brutally. This is how you build the foundation of virtue. A core of steel, a mind that does not bend. And once this is in place, you're no longer reactive, you're in control. But now we have to ask, why do people still sabotage themselves even when they know this? Even when the truth is clear. That's the final battle, the war within the war, self-sabotage. People say they want success, strength, freedom. But they live as slaves to distraction, to doubt, to desire. The reason they're afraid. Not of failure, but of responsibility, of power, of what it means to really take control. Because once you take full command, there are no more excuses. But here's the good news. If you've come this far, something in you is changing. Something in you is ready. So take the next step. Comment below. I choose to be my own prince. Say it out loud. Say it to yourself. Say it like it matters, because it does. Let this be your first public act of discipline, your first command to your own inner army. And if this message hit you, don't stop now. Go to the next video. Dive deeper. Sharpen your mind. Keep building. Because you're not just watching, you're forging. You're still at the beginning. And discipline is only the first blade.